From Hollywood, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live. Tonight, Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
I'll be honest. Our first guests tonight are, dare I say, national treasures. They have 4 Emmys for their show South Park and 9 Tonys for their Broadway musical, The Book of Mormon. The new season of South Park, their 15th, returns Wednesday night on Comedy Central. Please welcome Trey Parker and Matt Stone. You see what happens when you go out in public? Yeah. You probably only hear drawing the cartoons and writing stuff, so you don't get that a whole lot.
No, that's what we've been doing all day.
But people think of you as like the Siegfried and Roy of comedy, I think.
As long as I'm Roy. Right, which one got eaten? I don't know.
How are you? Everything good?
Yeah, really good.
15 years. Do you remember 15 years ago when we started on Comedy Central the very same week?
You were doing the Ben Stein show.
That is right.
Yeah.
When Ben Stein's Money. It was you guys, Ben Stein, me, and we're in front of a group of TV critics who had no interest in me or Ben Stein, but they yelled at you guys the whole time. Do you remember that?
Not really.
Yeah, they were upset about an anal probe in the first episode of the show. And
did you stand up for us?
Yes, I did stand up for you, yeah. And in fact, it turned into a little bit of a melee, as I recall, and I had to get some, like, training afterwards to learn how to deal with things in a political way, I guess. But also, I think that when you think back on how upset these TV critics were about the cartoon and the anal probe, and now we've come so far, I think they were right. You guys did ruin television.
Yeah. It took us 15 years, but I think we finally killed it.
And now you've got all the awards, and I watched your documentary, which is, it's great fun to watch.
Oh yeah, we had a whole documentary crew in the last run of South Park, so they were just, you know, doing kind of the reality show of how we put the show together, which was really weird.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, and it's really weird having cameras in the writer's room, because we're saying stuff and like, oh, they got that on camera now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, right. And do you trust the people that have this stuff on camera?
Kinda.
It was a friend of ours, Arthur Bradford, who directed it, and I think that's why we felt like we could kind of be ourselves a little bit, because we trusted who was doing it. But it was weird to have come into work and put this on every day, like a mic on every day. We were mic'd in the writer's room and stuff.
I know you guys have talked about a lot about how you do the show at the last minute. Now, you're literally, in 6 days, you write and produce the whole thing, complete with the drawings. But to actually see it happening is unbelievable. I mean, it really is. It's like you guys are college students who decided to write their term paper the night before the...
We're doing that right now, by the way.
Right
in the middle. Like, we're so behind
So
on
the
this
show's
current
on
episode.
Wednesday, and do you have what do you have planned right now? It's Thursday right now.
Stan's going to be in it.
Stan's going to be in it, okay.
And
you think it's unbelievable to watch. It's unbelievable to live. To like not know what we're going to do.
I can't even imagine. I mean, nobody goes like, hey, maybe we should put a few in the, get a few in the barrel before we
tried
get
that.
in there?
We tried going and doing shows beforehand, and the thing is we start second-guessing ourselves. We start going, oh, that's not that funny, and we'll rewrite it, and we'll rewrite it, and it's just like South Park has this nice freshness to it, because we just don't have time for writer's block. It's just like, get it, go, 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 go. You know, so.
And the process is you guys sit in a room and you come up with ideas, and then you lock yourself to the computer, I guess, and you just sit there and hash out the script.
Yeah.
And then the guys are there drawing. I mean, you're making sketches.
We just do everything in one building. That's what's not. We don't do anything out of house. So we can go and run in the booth, record it, and then the guys are. Meanwhile, they're sitting there drawing it, and then we can look at it on the editing. Meanwhile, we're coming up with the next scene. So it's like a factory.
And it's amazing that you were able to get a basement full of child slaves to animate this stuff.
Well, now they're all 15 years older, so they've all grown up.
They're almost legal. For me, the best part of the documentary is when you guys went to the Oscars. You were nominated for Best Original Song, right? Was that the category?
In Canada, yeah.
Wearing dresses, beautiful gowns. You get out of a limo together in gowns, which was great to start with. But then we learned that at the time you were on acid.
So we did, when we were doing Book of Mormon press, we did Letterman, and they wanted to talk about this, and somehow acid came up, and they said, oh, no, you can't say this. You can't say acid. So we came up with that sheening joke that we said on Letterman. We said we were sheening, but they think people think we were on coke.
Right.
So it was really important we set the record straight. We were on acid.
You were on acid.
But it was, I mean, we were like...
They have class over there.
Yeah.
We don't. Yeah.
And this was like 13 years ago. You know, everyone was doing acid then.
We left that in our late 20s. We don't do that
Was
stuff anymore.
whose idea was it to take acid before the Oscars?
We thought of it sort of the week before, and then the day came, and we're just like so we're like, no, there's no way, you know. And it was like, we're not going to really wear these dresses. And we had tuxes as a backup because we thought we were going to chicken out, and we did. And we're like, let's not do it. Let's not do that. And like, okay, well, let's take a little bit of the acid and see what happens. You know, and it was just like, and so we did that, and then of course, like an hour later, we're like, we got to wear the dresses.
It made that whole thing just make sense.
And what about the possibility that you didn't turn? It didn't so happen that you won, but had you won, you would have had to go up on stage.
Trey would have had to go up on stage in a green dress on acid.
Yeah, well, the dress is the least of the issues.
And the thing is, we didn't take a lot of acid. And so it was like we were coming down off the acid in the audience as the show started. We're like.
Yeah, no fun.
Oh, God, please don't let us win. Please don't let us win, you know.
You guys taught a class at NYU a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we did not take acid for that.
You did not? Okay, good.
We were sober for this.
Good. You've settled down.
Yeah, we settled down, yeah.
What do you teach the kids when you show up?
It was this thing where we went in and we didn't even know. It was a surprise to them, actually. They didn't even know we were going to teach, and it was the freshman's first night.
First day of school.
First day of school.
Yeah.
So it was there, and it was like their television and it was a class about writing. And what was crazy was we got there and we just realized how old we actually got. Because they're like, he's freshman in college. We're like, we remember, we met in college and everything. And we got there and we looked out at them and they're like 6. Yeah. We're like, you're in college? Wow. And just felt really old.
Yeah, we're talking about, we met, very much like in a class like here. We're trying to talk about collaboration and stuff. And like we met before you were born. Let's see. Yeah. It hurt.
Yeah, I would think so.
It hurt, yeah.
Well, you've matured into fine older gentlemen.
Thanks.
And when we come back, I want to talk about the Book of Mormon because it is, I know everybody wants to see it, but it is absolutely fantastic. Matt and Trey are here with us. They're South Park. 6 days to air is the name of the documentary. It's Sunday, October 9th at 10 on Comedy Central and South Park Season 5 on Wednesday. We'll be right back.
On Thursday, we get one scene, we jam it through the storyboard department. The guys will go in and record that scene.
Trey's the quarterback. We're kind of like the offensive line.
But it all starts and ends with Trey and Matt.
So sorry, Kyle, but I am starving. Which would you rather I eat? Should I eat a cuttlefish and asparagus or the vanilla pesto? Cuttlefish and asparagus? Very well, I will eat the cuttlefish.
That's Matt Stone and Trey Parker from their documentary 6 days there. It starts October 9th on Comedy Central. It's fun to watch you guys do the voices.
Yeah, we get asked to do voices all the time, and what's funny is that they always ask me, do you do Kenny? And I'm like, no, I don't do Kenny. I do Cartman. I do stand. Like, oh, who does Kenny?
Kenny's like the least interesting voice ever in the history of animation.
Yeah.
People want to hear it for some reason.
Well, yeah, people love
that's all it is.
And they love to see it coming out of your actual bodies.
Yeah.
The Book of Mormon. We see the South Park takes you 6 days to put together. How long did it take you to put the Book of Mormon together?
7
years. We worked with Bobby Lopez, who did Avenue Q, and Trey and I met him in 2004 when we were doing Team America, and we found we had this weird fascination with Mormons, both us and him, and we started writing this musical, and it took 7 years. It took that long.
We wrote all the songs. We wrote like an album first. We just kind of did a demo of our own album, and then had all the songs, and then, it was just doing stuff with real people. It's a lot harder than doing stuff with
funny. It's unbelievably funny. I can barely make it through one musical. I've seen it twice, and then I downloaded the soundtrack so I could listen to it. It is insanely offensive. I mean, just like I look around, and I know people know that they're there to see a comedy, but I couldn't help the second time but really kind of look around the room just to see what people, because even I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is.
Well, we had that every night because we had a month of previews where you're watching the show there with the audience and we're standing in the back, but you're fixing things and you're changing things to see what gets a good reaction and what doesn't. And so we were sitting there, you know, the first few nights we don't know how people are going to react to it. We're back there going. And then, you know, the songs would come out, and we had one woman walk out the entire time.
Really?
But she made it was a great walkout. She did a great job. Because she didn't just walk out, she stood up, and she took her program, and she threw it on the ground, and then she stormed out of the room. It was just like, oh, that's a good one.
Well, that's a triumph in and of itself. Well, it's great. You guys are unbelievable. I mean, the show is still so funny. 15 years later, it's a testament to your... I mean, it's amazing that you guys haven't become distracted by something else and left the show, and I think that's a good lesson for people.
No, it's still, South Park's our baby, and it's still what we love doing.
And you have now the oldest fourth graders in America.
I know. Yeah. 30-year-old fourth graders.
It's great to see you. South Park returns next Wednesday.
6 days air, October 9th. That's Sunday on Comedy Central. Matt Stone and Trey Parker, everybody. We'll be right back with Jessica Capshaw.